This episode of Joyride is being brought to you by High Bank. High Bank is a proud Columbus-based distillery. Look for High Bank spirits at your local liquor store and favorite bars around the city. By purchasing High Bank spirits, you're supporting and drinking local. Drink local, drink High Bank.
You're listening to Joyride, a podcast for people who love cars. Now sit back and enjoy the ride.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Pete.
What's up?
Nothing much, man. It's another episode of Joyride.
Yeah. We're at it again. Silliness ensues.
Yeah.
So this week it's solo. Well, not solo, like the two of us.
The two of us.
No guest this week,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
We alluded to it last week a little bit.
There was a little tease in there.
Little tease. And if you're a true fan, you probably caught it.
Yeah.
Saturday I did something.
You did a thing.
I did a thing.
Yeah.
I did a thing on Saturday. So it was a kind of a pain in the butt thing.
Yeah.
If I've got to be honest, but we can get into it. But
Okay.
Yeah, I did that thing.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and tell the audience what the thing was?
So happened to be perusing on Facebook Marketplace, and I hate Facebook. Hate it. Don't like it. Got rid of it
Same.
in 2004 maybe. But I hate it even more because the car market has moved to where the people are, and the people are on the Facebook. So, what used to be like Craigslist it's just
It's a
junk.
ghost town.
Yeah,
on
ghost
Craigslist.
town,
Yeah.
scams. Just junk. So my dad and my mom were visiting, and my dad's on Facebook, strictly for Marketplace, and strictly for Marketplace. I won't speculate. And so I snatched his phone. We were talking cars all afternoon. This, that. What if you did this? Could you do that? Right, all this stuff.
Were you talking to him about purchasing the next car?
No, I was talking to him about the Impala a little bit.
Okay.
He's getting some car parts together for a swap meet. He's always got like 3 or 4 cars that he's looking at. He actually looks around Columbus and south of Columbus thinking it's okay now because I'm here. So I'm constantly like, there's a car in Dayton. And I'm like, Dad, okay. It's going to take me a day to do it. What day? Well, I haven't bought it yet. I'm like, well, we'll go look at it. It's a full day. So, stuff like that. So he's really hot on a couple El Caminos right now.
Okay.
Early 60s El Caminos. So those were, if I remember this right, those were kind of like the Impala Bel Air fronts,
right.
And then obviously the truck bed. But because it was early 60s, you got a lot of fin and flare on the back. And then I don't know. I'm going to get this wrong. But at some point, late 60s, early 70s, somewhere in there, they moved to the Chevelle platform. Mm-hmm. And the Chevelle became like the El Camino had the front of the Chevelle. So anyway, he's looking at a couple of those. You ever heard of an Edsel?
Yeah.
It's a weird looking car. My dad used to make fun of him, and now he wants one. So he's found an Edsel. But I always get text messages from him. He's like, "How far is Mansfield from you?" I'm like, "Far, really far."
Yeah.
But so at any rate, we're talking all these cars, and he saves them on his app. He's got the Facebook app, and he's saved, but he doesn't know how to delete stuff. So all of them are sold or,
okay.
All this stuff. But he's like, look at this one I found. Look at this one I found. I was like, give me that. And so I just started messing around because I don't have access to Facebook Marketplace. And I'm an old dog. There's no new tricks. Typed in BMW.
Right.
Didn't even try anything else. First thing. Yep.
First thing.
Yep. And there's this BMW in New Philly that popped up. So that's how this whole thing started. This was on a Wednesday.
About how long ago was this?
So
Like,
Wednesday,
weeks ago?
Wednesday,
Okay.
we did this.
Yeah.
Thursday, Tony was on.
Yeah.
Saturday, I bought a car.
Oh, okay. I was thinking this was something that has evolved over time. No, this was
Nope.
This was okay. So literally the day before we recorded that last episode.
Yeah.
Had you put an offer in, or were you just
No.
okay?
So
It
my
was just
strategy,
it was just on the radar at that point.
Yeah, my strategy with cars is if I'm serious about a car and I think that it could work, or that I'd be ready to pull a trigger after I do my looky-loos and checking and everything, never talk price. Never alienate the person before you show up. Don't lowball, don't talk price. The price was in the ballpark. It wasn't worth it. I knew it. I knew I was going to look at a car that I was going to put a really low offer in on. So that's how that happened. So Wednesday, talked to Dad. Thursday, we did the podcast. Friday, I rented a U-Haul car hauler. And Saturday, I drove up there.
So you drive there with a U-Haul. Mm-hmm. You haven't talked to price yet.
Nope.
How many correspondences have you had with the owner at this point?
3.
And all via email or text? Just
Yeah.
text.
Well, 3 texts and a phone call Wednesday evening.
Okay.
So I did talk to her.
Okay. How much does your wife know at this point when you've rented the U-Haul trailer and you've left to drive with the intentions of buying it? Now, I know you hadn't probably made up your mind at that point.
So, no, let me stop you there.
Okay.
My mind was pretty made up.
Even though you hadn't talked price at all?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so just based on was it because of the conversations that you had, or
it's a famous car.
Okay.
It's a famous car. It was in a movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was in a movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What movie was it in?
It's a small, low-budget film called Loyalty Test.
Oh, no way. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. So
I
now
didn't know that.
Now we'll pick up the story via, or is it via 2000? I think it's circa 2004.
2000. No. Oh, yeah. It would have been 4 or 5, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 2004. I bought at 19 years old a 4-year-old off lease BMW 323 Ci, brand new, shiny, expensive as all hell. Lowest base model. It's embarrassing to think about like how much that car cost just for the badge, because it was the lowest thing that BMW made that year, right? So I bought this car. I wasn't living on my own, so I wasn't paying rent, which helped because between the car payment and the insurance at 19, I was paying rent plus utilities.
Right. Yeah.
So 2004, 2005, now I'm dating / engaged. 2006, I'm getting ready to get married. Had to sell the car. So I had it for about 2 years. Had to get out from underneath of it. I do mean underneath. I was pretty upside down in the car. Ended up selling it to an older couple. I mean, back then, God, everybody was old, so it's hard to say, but I want to say mid-30s. I don't know. I have no idea, right? Maybe a little bit older. And I remember the guy coming out, and I had this car for sale forever, and it was overpriced. Nobody was coming and looking at it. This guy and his wife came out, and he walked around this car and touched everything and pulled everything and went over it like crazy. Like you and I talk about Porsches on this podcast, right? That's how he was looking at this car.
At this low level BMW.
And I remember subconsciously thinking, what is wrong with this guy? Like this, I know why I'm in the car,
right?
But this is not kept calling it a sports car. And so I thought, great. He loves it, right? It's perfect. Sold it to him in 2006.
Okay.
Turns out he loved it so much that he continued to maintain it and take care of it for the last 14 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So his wife is who put it on Facebook, and they still had it. So Wednesday night, when you ask me, what did my wife know? How much did she know? I was losing my shit. I found my old car. It looked awesome in the one picture they had on Facebook.
Yeah.
In the back of my head, I'm telling myself, they kept this car for 14 years.
Yeah.
Only drove it in the summer, winterized it, stored it.
This guy clearly loved this car.
Loved this car.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is a done deal.
You have to.
I'm doing it. Like, I mean, I looked at her and I was like, you know, what can you say other than?
Did she remember you when you showed up?
Oh yeah. I clear as day. I mean, it was just like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
So I show up with this car hauler. And she's like, you could have drove it home. I was like, yeah, I just couldn't find anybody to come up here. She's like, okay. And I mean, you can see that they're like excited because I brought the car hauler. They know I'm the guy who sold it to them.
Yeah,
it's this like weird thing.
I can't believe.
I know.
I cannot believe you found your old car. So the other thing is, inside joke, the movie he was mentioning that the car was in was a student film of mine back in college. Yeah, a movie. It was a short film.
It was a short film
that featured that car in it because I needed an adult looking car, and none of my friends owned adult looking cars.
Let's back up a little bit. Any of your friends' cars would have been better because the premise of the movie was there was an FBI agent kidnapping a couple like recruits,
right,
and taking them to an undisclosed safe house in a red BMW, the most conspicuous car possible for this covert recruiting session. I mean, the thing doesn't hold water, but
you're right. It was a student film. All right, there wasn't a lot of anyway.
I say all that to say, I loved starring in that movie.
Pete played the head FBI.
That's right,
enforcer guy who was kidnapping all these people.
I wish I had that movie too.
Oh, man. I'm sure I have it somewhere.
He takes me out to the barn. So he lives on this beautiful farm. It's like 100 acres.
Before this? 100 acres?
Yeah.
Nice. How many cars did you look when you type in BMW
it gives you the first one that popped up.
Bullshit. Oh, my gosh.
Promise you.
Oh, my gosh, Peter.
Yeah.
How long it had been posted for?
A week, maybe.
Oh, my gosh, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting chills over here, dude. I'm
so when I look at the picture, I forever, because of this, I mean, not because, but you know, this podcast included, like whenever I'm looking at cars, I'm always thinking about what I used to have, always looking for, you know, old cars I used to drive or old stuff I used to like. Right. And this car had what I dubbed them the snowflake wheels. No other 323 CI I have ever been able to find since then has ever had those wheels, ever. And I've been searching nationwide for a 2000 BMW 323 Ci. Never seen them before. So when I see this one picture on Facebook, it is my color.
It's your body style.
And it's my body style. And it's the wheels that I've never been able to find. And I was like, this is crazy, right? So when I text her, like, well, it was a message through, and I'm like a kid, right? I'm like, Dad, how do you message on this thing? Like, I couldn't figure out any of it. I was such a mess.
Adrenaline was just dumping into your body.
I mean, dumping is the right word. I had excess for days, right?
Oh my gosh, man.
So I'm like, you know, when did you have, like, how long have you had it? Do you know the history? I'd be interested in looking at if it's still for sale. She's like, bought it in 2006 from a young man out of Canton. I'm like, oh my God, this has got to be my. So I immediately dialed the number because a lot of those ads don't have phone numbers.
Right.
She put hers on there. So I called it and showed up on Saturday.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is insane. Wow. So Pete sends me the picture of the car, and I didn't, you know, so I knew it was the red BMW. Yeah. So I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
It was the same car.
Same car, same VIN. Same everything. I put a lot of miles on it.
So that was my next question is when you sold it, do you remember what the mileage was on the car?
I didn't remember until I saw the title.
Okay.
Because it was there's no other owner in between us. So
yeah. So
I remember what I bought it with.
Yeah.
Which was about 43,000 miles.
Okay.
So 4 years old, about 10,000 a year. Makes sense with the lease. I bought it off of lease.
Sure.
Turns out I sold it in 2006, 2 years later, with 93,000 miles on it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. I drove that car a lot.
You drove that car a lot.
So my girlfriend at the time, now wife, was in Bowling Green in all of 2004. It was her senior year. So I would drive back and forth to Bowling Green every weekend. It's about a 3.5 hour drive one way.
I thought my drive was bad driving from Columbus to Canton every weekend, and that's only 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's turnpike, so it was boring.
Oh yeah.
And $20. Well, it might be more now, but it was. I remember it being a tank of gas and $20 in tolls just to see her. So I remember not complaining, but like
That's love right there, man.
I know,
that is love.
bitching to my friends and my parents because I had no money. I was like, before I even take her out on a date, and I got to take her out on a date. I mean, we're going up there,
Right.
like it's $40 and another $20. It's $60 before I even see her.
Right. And then it's $60 on the way back.
$60 on the way back. Yeah. Not to mention the wear and tear on the car, right?
Right. Yeah.
So when she graduated Bowling Green, she then did her grad work at Kent, and that's still, while closer, a 40-minute drive from where I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of miles put on that car. A lot of dates in that car. A lot of stuff in that car. So, yeah.
So how many miles did it have on Saturday when you went?
So think about this. I sold it with 93.
And it was gone for 14 years.
14 years. 147.
Wow.
50,000 miles.
Yeah.
55,000 miles.
It did almost the same amount of mileage in 14 years that you did in 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
So, in the back of my head, I'm going, that's perfect. Used it, but not too much, right? Kept things going.
Yeah.
Never saw salt or snow. I mean, I couldn't say that because I was driving it all the time everywhere.
Right.
But, yeah. So I show up and he takes me, this huge farm, right? And the barn that it's sitting in now, I'm like, oh, it's been in a barn, is around the corner. Like, you have to drive to get there. It's too far from where the house is.
Okay.
And I leave my stupid phone in my truck. So now I'm away from my phone. I can't take any pictures. I can't look anything up on the internet. And I'm walking around this car, and it's parked next to a horse trailer, combine. Like, I mean, it's this shiny little thing amongst all this farm equipment. Dusty, it's dirty, but still has a shine. Like, I used to wax it all the time. He'd wax it every summer. He'd put it away. He'd wax it before the next season. Fires right up. I mean, everything looks good. I mean, I'm taking a chance with it. I mean, it's a BMW with 150,000 miles on it, but yeah, he did back into it with a tractor. So
okay.
I know I need to do body work. Like, before I even get there, they told me about it. They sent me a picture. I was like, okay, so I know I have to do body work on this fender. Walking around it, pulling it down into the light, all of my excitement gets a reality check.
Yeah.
Fast.
Yeah.
The car is 20 years old, and it shows its age.
Yeah.
Stone chips on the hood are so deep and so high up the hood, you gotta repaint the hood.
Okay.
One of the fog light lenses is fogged up. Like you can't. It's just cloudy.
Yeah.
Bad. The reverse tail lights, which are originally they were white or clear, they're like yellowed now. The back seat, the upholstery, from sitting in the sun and like heating up and stuff, all of the seams have popped and puckered, and so there's got to be upholstery work on the back.
Yeah.
On top of the side of the driver's seat and the side of the passenger seat from getting in and out of the car.
Right.
Those bolsters need to be fixed again, right? The gear shifter, not as bad as you'd expect, but definitely shows wear. Buttons on the radio, half worn off. Radio itself doesn't work. Doesn't not work, but I went to turn it down to listen to the engine, and the thing went up all the way. So every time you turn it down, it goes straight all the way to max volume. But the steering wheel volume still controls it, so I figured that out. I got a check engine light. I've got an ABS light, and I've got a traction control light on this thing.
Well, those are just, character building for BMWs.
Yeah.
Old BMWs, that's just like turning the car on.
Yeah. He swears, and I haven't had it checked out, but he swears it's a wheel sensor that's bad and throwing all three of those lights simultaneously. Realized that the cruise control doesn't work. Did a little reading, realized that if your ABS and traction control light are on, your cruise
won't work.
So if that's what it is, and I can fix it and clear those lights, then I think the cruise will come back. 2 stone chips in the windshield. Those are the things that make me the most mad at the windshield chips. Even in my most scrutinizing ways, right? Every time I buy a car, no matter how hard I look at it, I always get it home. The deed is done. I'm like, what the? How did I miss?
How did I miss this part? Yeah.
How did I miss 2 stone chips almost in driver's eye line sight?
Yeah.
Did I get these trailering at home? Impossible.
No, you did not get them trailering home. No, they were there.
headliner in the back falling off. Weather stripping around the windows are a little crusty. All the glass works. Sunroof works. Sunroof, like, closed the shade sunroof part, missing. Found it in the trunk. So that's all the bad, right? Got under the car as best I could. Couldn't see anything. I have another friend who said he did the same thing and turned out to be a mess. So
Right.
we'll have to get it on a lift and see, but I'm feeling pretty confident that the bottom is pretty strong. No rust, especially since I believe him in saying that he didn't bring it out in the winter. Went through all the records, did all the maintenance and stuff, half of which are mine with my parents' address on it. Like, kept all that. So I've got all these records, which is great. He did some pretty big things. New radiator, upper hose, lower hose, water pump. There was a gasket, I think I read, but I don't think it was a head gasket. I just think it was a gasket. Oil changes, tires, brand new Michelins. Probably don't have 1,000 miles on them.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Just put them on last year. All the books, all of the keys. I've got 4 keys. I've got the 2 keys, so the original and the spare. Then there's a valet key. And then there's just a plastic key that if all else fails, like your battery, like you can still unlock your door and get in the car. He has the original tag that I gave him when I bought the car.
Oh, wow.
Like, you know, like when you buy a car from a dealership, they
Yeah.
have the car tag on the keychain.
Yeah.
That was there. The toolkit in the back, 100% there. Full-size spare, original rim, still there. It's a solid car, I think.
You're hoping at this point.
I'm hoping.
So you haven't had it officially checked out by a mechanic or anything yet?
No. And I'm going to be honest with you. I won't.
You're not going to?
No.
Because
I don't do that. I'm not I'm not a bad news guy.
you don't want to know whether you're sitting on a bomb or not.
You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
I probably will. Only because the timing chain has me concerned. Not sure if he did it or not.
Okay.
And I couldn't find the record for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things with BMWs that if you don't get it taken care of, if you don't get it maintained, problem areas, you know, they can really escalate on you pretty quick.
Yeah. Clutch is original too.
Okay.
It's a little squishy.
Yeah, I think 140 probably should have had that done.
Yeah. It's going to take some work.
Well, but
I'm probably going to have another $6,000 in this car.
okay.
Paint,
So,
body.
You're going to paint
upholstery.
it the red again?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Keep the same red.
Keep the same red.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring it right back to stock, right back to original.
I can't tell if it has any tint on the windows or anything.
No
like that.
tint.
No tint. Are you going to add any tint to the windows?
Nope.
I think you should. You don't have to go dramatic, but just like a 10%, 20% tinted, like
Tinted.
not like limousine tint or anything like that. But
Right.
I think BMWs just look so good with just a little bit.
And I gotta find floor mats for it. I asked him where the floor mats went, and I guess the foam padding on the underneath of the floor mats had disintegrated into like sand. He said it was miserable getting out. You touch it and it go everywhere. So he took them all out and threw them out.
It makes sense to me now, knowing that you found your car. That makes sense that you got the card hauler before you talked price. You were on your way out the door. When did your wife find out?
Wednesday.
She knew Wednesday.
I was sitting there screaming.
Yeah.
I jumped over the couch. I was literally I was in my socks and sliding across the wood floors going, woo, I found my car. I'm buying this car. I mean, I was a lunatic. A lunatic.
I love that so much.
Oh, man.
I love it.
I don't think I would have bought it. In fact, I'm almost certain I wouldn't have even gone and looked at it if there was an owner between him and this purchase.
Okay.
The only reason that I did any of this stuff was completely because I bought a clean car off lease. Even though I put a lot of miles on it, I still took care of it. It was under warranty. I had an extended warranty on it, so anything that it needed, it got.
Yeah.
Had tires, had brakes, did my oil changes, right? And then this guy kept it for 14 years. And so I can back into the history pretty strong on this car. If there would have even been one person in between him and this purchase, I wouldn't have even done it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the worst time for me to buy a car too. It's like, I don't need a car. I don't.
Uncertainty is uncertainty, man. And it doesn't matter that COVID is wreaking financial havoc on things. Your financial situation can take a turn on you any day. It doesn't matter if this year, next year, 10 years, it doesn't. That is always an excuse for not to take a chance on something or, whatever. And it's not wrong. It's not wrong to look at it that way. But the other thing is, something bad does happen. You just unload the car. You know, you can just sell it.
You didn't even get to the most dramatic part yet.
What's that?
You never asked me what it was listed for and what I paid for it.
Well, I didn't know if you were gonna be okay with saying, but yeah, okay. So
I'm all in on this podcast, bro.
Okay, I love it. I love your honesty. I love your transparency. Okay, so what was it listed at?
$5,000.
Oh, okay. And so you show up, you being who you are, and the history with the car, and you notice all of these things that are saying, this is going to cost this much, this is going to cost, and and you're able to point that out to the guy.
Yeah.
What do you talk him down to? $5,000.
It's not even a talking him down. So Kelly Blue Book on this car is $2,500, $2,800 if it's in pristine condition.
Okay.
This one is not.
Clearly not.
So he's way off here. Your leverage isn't awesome when you show up with a car.
Right, yeah.
Just FYI, anybody out there trying to buy a car. However, the pendulum swings when you drive away with that same car hauler and nothing on it.
Right, yeah.
So I spent it like an hour and a half with this car, right? Test drove it and the whole thing.
Now, did he come with you on the test drive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
It's a $3,000 car.
Right.
It just is what it is. I mean, between the body work, I'm going to have probably $1,600 to $1,800 in body alone, body and paint. I've never done upholstery on a car, so I don't know what that'll cost. I figure $4,000 to $6,000.
Right. To get the car
back. I hit him with it. I was like, hey, listen, I know you have 5 on the car. I'm at 3. He was like, I punched him in the nuts. He was, oh my God, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. I'm going to restore this car. And I'm like, oh my God, nobody restores a 2000 BMW 323 Ci.
Not nobody but you.
Well, I'm going to do it because it's stupid and that's what I do. But apparently I'm not the only idiot out there because he's like, I'm going to restore it. It's going to be great. It's just going to take time right now, and we don't, we could do some other stuff. I was like, I totally respect it, man. I'm not trying to insult you. I mean, I was as kind as I could be because I knew I was giving him, a gut punch.
You're having this conversation with him after the test drive is over?
After the test drive, yeah. So on the way back on the test drive, I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. This is a nice car. I was like, remind me again where you're at. He's like, 5,000. I was like, okay. 10 minutes pass, like on the test drive.
Do you say anything else after
nothing
that?
After
nothing.
that.
It's just crickets.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we talk more about the car and stuff, but I don't give him a hint as to what I'm going to come back at him. Because in my head, he says 5. I'm like, oh, this car is not a $5,000 car.
Yeah.
So we get back to the barn, park it, do the whole thing. And now I feel bad, right? He pulled out the horse trailer. He had to start a tractor that looks like it was built originally in 1949. It's raining now, so like we're standing out in the rain pretty much. He's got to put all this shit back. I said three's where I'm at, right? So can't do it. He starts talking a little bit more about the car and what he wanted to do, and I was like, give me your best number. What do you? He's like, I would do 45, and I was only going to do 45 because you were the guy that sold it to us, and like we like that story and stuff. I was like, I'm nowhere near 45. I just can't do it. I was like, listen, circumstances change. You don't get any calls. This car needs to be gone. Let me know. My offer will stand.
Yeah.
You have a standing offer. I understand and respect that you're not going to take it. Now I got to get back in his truck and drive all the way up to the house.
Right, yeah.
Because my truck is. Yeah, where my truck is and my car hauler. Now, just as I'm getting ready to leave, and I'm trying to leave fast because his wife, who posted the ad originally, I could tell she wanted the car gone. And she was super hyped that I was there with the car hauler. I mean, super, super hyped.
Yeah.
She pulls back in. And I'm like, thanks. Let me know if anything changes. Really appreciate it. It's so nice to see you guys again, and she's a little confused. She's not sure what's going on.
She expected you to be pulling the car in and load it up.
But she's still smiling. Like, she's got the big eyes. She's smiling like this is like, I just pulled in, like, what did I, and so I leave. I didn't even get to the main road.
Yeah.
My phone rings. And it's Brett.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what does he say?
He says, hey, I appreciate it. Why don't we meet in the middle? Meet me at 4. I said, I'm super sorry. I can't do it. I cannot do it. I have to stay at 3. I have to stay at 3.
Now, did you justify your 3 by saying, look, this, all these things are wrong. This is just adding up to what,
I say if I don't do the radio and I don't do the upholstery, this bodywork has to be done. And then once you do that, you might be able to find somebody at 5. I said, but the bodywork's going to be anywhere between $1,600 and $1,800, So yeah, I did all that. He said, okay, I understand. I appreciate it. So he hangs up. I call Sarah. She goes, how'd it go? I'm like, depends on what you wanted to happen. I said, I didn't get it. I stuck firm at 3, and she's like, good. Oh man, so happy. I just was thinking, like, right now with everything going on, I'm like, I know, don't worry about it. I'll be home later. I'm on my way. And so I hang up with her. My phone rings again, and I say, hey, Brett.
Oh, he called you back.
Yeah. She goes, it's Joy. I was like, oh no. She's like, listen, I'm twisting his arm over here. We're talking. I was like, don't hurt him. I'm already breaking his heart. Like, just be kind to him. And she's like, can you do 38? I said, I can't do any more than 35. I told my wife that I wouldn't spend any more than $3,500. I told your husband 3 because I know taxes and tags are probably going to cost me another $500. I'm in this thing all the way. I came up with $3,500 bills. That's all I got on me.
Yeah.
That's all I can do. That dramatic pause that we just had is what I heard on the other end of the phone. And she goes, okay, it's a deal.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So now I'm like, shit.
Your first thought is?
My first thought is, holy shit. I should have just said no. I drove away. I did the hardest part already.
Right. You walked away.
Yeah. I just hung up with my wife and told her I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did.
So I went and had lunch with a friend of ours up in Canton. Okay. And I told her, I was like, well, I'm already on 77. I'll be up there an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'll come back through on my way down. Are you sure this is okay? This is what you want to do? She said, yeah. Sure enough, man. Came back down, picked it up. So now I'm supposed to be home at 6. All this would have worked out if I just would have bought it and they would have agreed to that price.
Yeah.
Then and there. So now it's 6 and my wife is calling me. Where are you at? I'm about an hour away. And it might take me a little bit longer because I'm going slow because I have a car on the back of the trailer. Yeah. That was my weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. One thing has been made perfectly clear for me is that I need you to negotiate my next car purchase because I am the worst at negotiating. I hate negotiating. I hate it. I know it needs to be done. I know that prices of any car is set to be negotiated. Yep. I don't have it in me to do. I'm not wired that way, man.
I mean, I don't know if it's the gambler in me. I gotta
see. I'm not. I don't know. I don't gamble.
I don't know. It's kind of fun. I mean, I hate it too, especially when I want something. It's this weird kind of rush of leverage, like who wants it more or whatever, right? Turns out I didn't do anything special. He needed to sell it more than I needed to buy it.
Right.
And it turned out to work in my favor. But
yeah. I think I could do it like via email. I don't know that I could like look somebody in the eye.
See, that's where it's most important. That's why I never talk price through text, phone call, email. I never do it.
Yeah.
Never. Because it doesn't carry the same weight. When you
100%
look,
it doesn't.
When you look at somebody and you tell them this is what I can do and this is what'll happen.
Right.
Like now you're sizing each other up.
Yeah.
Listen, for everybody out there who's cheering and like so excited for me, thank you. But let me be clear. I paid $1,000 premium for this car.
You did. Yeah, Kelly Blue Book.
The premium was because it was mine. I'm fully aware I overpaid for this car. Even with my sweet negotiating,
yeah,
I overpaid. Everybody's gonna be like, Rob, you're an idiot. He didn't negotiate a great deal. I didn't.
Well, he
a
did.
great deal would have been $2,000.
Okay, fair enough. But I would have walked in. I would have walked in and looked at the car, said, "Okay, I'll do 45," and left. And I would have overpaid that much for the car. Okay, you see? I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, I talked him down $500 whole dollars." At least you got him down that far. I mean, and it took 3 phone calls.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have that. I'm not built that way.
Turns out leverage swings when you drive away without a car in the back.
Yeah, I know that is the big thing when you're looking for a car is being willing to walk away.
Yeah,
I know that.
Yeah, new cars is different. I mean, new cars is a little tough, right? The internet has kind of made the marketplace so efficient that dealerships don't compete on price anymore because you can check literally 28 different dealerships.
The price is the price for the most time.
On a new car, there's zero margin. They make all their money in the service base and the warranty work and whatever else they can sell you in the F&I office, right? Oh, do you want the insurance? Oh, do you want the extra warranty plan? I mean, like, they get massive dollars for selling a warranty plan. You spend $3,000 on a warranty, they make $2,000 off of that, right?
Yeah.
You get an interest rate at 3.5%, right? Think, well, that's great, 3.5%. The bank is giving that rate to them at 2.8%.
Right.
So they're making between 40 and 60 basis points in spread on you right off the rip. And so when they take a $600 profit on a new car, they then, when you're in the financing office, will build you up to a $5,000 profit at the end, right? So new cars negotiating is a little different. Used cars, absolutely. Be willing to walk away, be willing to be realistic, understand who you're talking with and what their motives might be. These people got the sense they need the car was better off sold than being stored another year.
Yeah.
And it was just time. I mean, I didn't have anything to do with that. The only thing I did was pick up on, listen, if I hold at 3, there's a good chance. That's all I did.
Yeah. They started at 5 and you started at 3. You didn't meet in the middle. You definitely were on your end of the bargain, 3,500.
Yeah.
So I think that's fantastic as far as that goes.
Drove it for a half hour, 40 minutes the day I got it, or the next day, because it was so late when I was home. I was in trouble.
So what is it like driving it for the first time when it's yours? You go on the test drive, but at that point, it's still not your car.
Yeah. I'll tell you, man, it is not at all what I expected it to be.
Okay.
So the sheen is a little dull, right? It's an older car. It shows its wear. The perception I had of me in that car when it was new-ish was like the first high you get that you constantly chase as a junkie to try to recreate. Like it just wasn't there. I tried everything. Had the windows down, the seat in the right position, shifting the gears, messing with the radio. I mean, the whole thing. And it just wasn't the same. So I am learning in real time how to appreciate something that I appreciated before, but in a completely different way.
Okay.
This is an entirely different experience. I almost can't get any of that original vibe back. Now, I've only had it on one drive, so maybe that changes.
Sure.
But could be I'm a bigger kid now, right? Like I put on some weight. Getting out of a 323 CI looks a little funny when I do it. And it's more of a roll than like a badass. Tell you what, man, my back, I don't know what's wrong. I remember the seats being comfortable.
Yeah.
Fucking things are like bricks.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? This isn't even real leather, is it? I mean, it probably isn't because it's bottom of the line BMW, but
well, you said upholstery work needs done anyway. I mean, just
but
throw some new seats in there.
Padding wasn't lost.
Yeah.
The leather's worn, but
Recaro makes some nice seats.
Yeah. It's a different experience. One that I'm happy to have.
Yeah.
And excited about. And I came home with a smile on my face after that drive. There's no doubt. But reliving the 19-year-old Pete in that car, I mean, I didn't even have the ghost of 19-year-old Pete in that car. I could not come back with that feeling.
Interesting.
The car felt smaller, felt primitive.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember driving it in 2004 and thinking like, I mean, I had steering controls and my radio would say the name of the song that, was playing and, like, had a CD player right up front, and I had the most like luxurious car. No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I did, and maybe that's all luxury was in 2000. But I'm pretty sure I thought much more highly of that car in '04 than it was worth, because I'm driving going, man, it's almost like getting back to that original driving experience that we've talked about on this podcast. Like, it was raw.
Yeah.
You could hear the engine. There wasn't much to do other than shift the gears. Gauges were flat. The radio was flat. The dash was flat. I mean, there wasn't. You look at the cup holders in this thing, in the side armor. I mean, it looks like it's 40 years old. I mean, it's crazy, crazy to me.
Yeah.
How much it's aged, and like the lines on it, I think are still beautiful. There's no doubt.
It's a gorgeous looking car.
No doubt. I'm still in love with the shape
Yeah.
and the profile.
Yeah.
But the interior and its features have not aged as well.
Okay. So what's the first thing you're going to do to it now that you have it? I mean, you're going to have to sit with it for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to park it. No. I'm going to get license plates for it. Hopefully tomorrow. Maybe Monday.
All right.
I mean, if mechanically it doesn't need anything major, there's probably a dozen door dings all the way up from the fender to the rear. I mean, both sides, 6 on each side. I mean, it's disappointing. You look at the car, you try to look down the line. It's like, as well maintained as it was, you can't stop people from opening their door on it.
Right. It's got 140,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
It's an old car.
Yeah.
And those things just happen.
I'm worried about paying body, because a lot of people don't want to fix dings. It's too much work. It's tedious. It's not very, very cost effective for them. So the last time I tried to get somebody to pull some dings, they sent me to Dent Wizard. They're like, you just go there. That'll be easier for you. I'm like, easier for me or easier for you? Because it's already in your shop,
right?
Taped off. So, I mean, can you do it or no?
Yeah.
Basically, they didn't want to. And then maybe over the winter, look for an upholstery person. And then after that, I mean, it's done. I mean, everybody keeps telling me, like, I should engine swap it, or I should, like, do something gnarly with it. I don't know.
What was the engine in the 3?
It's a straight 6-cylinder.
Yeah.
I mean, if I looked it up, I should have done this before the podcast, but I don't think there was more than 240 horsepower.
Sounds about right for the time, and knowing that the M3 had 333.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to be a slow car. Oh no, what?
170.
Really?
2.5 liter 6-cylinder. Yeah. 170 horsepower.
That's surprising to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew it wasn't awesome.
The people that are talking engine swap and all that, yeah, I mean, you could, but then we were talking $5-10 grand, for that. You should have started at a different car if that was the goal. You know what I mean? And I feel like,
of course, I could have bought a clean one with a blown engine for $1,000.
Right. Yeah.
Started right.
Yeah.
I'm not overly concerned with the performance, because I just wanted to drive.
Yeah.
I did float the idea of a small turbo on it.
Yeah.
But because when I was driving it on Sunday, I was like, man, this is peppy, but it would be a lot more fun if there was like this
some forced induction.
Yeah. But once you do that, like, you put everything else at risk.
Yeah.
I mean, everything else at risk.
Everything. Yeah. Well, especially in a little car like that.
Uh-huh.
I'm just blown away. I'm in awe that, and this is what's crazy about just the world is, what are the chances
I know
that you're not on Facebook? You don't have Facebook. How, we're in the middle of a pandemic. When was the last time you saw your dad?
We went up for July 4th, and we had an outside social distance visit, because before that was Christmas.
Okay. Either way,
mm-hmm.
like the chances
mm-hmm.
that you see your family and happen to find your way onto Marketplace.
Yeah.
Within a week, that your original car that started the whole BMW love gets put on the market.
Yeah. This is so okay. My wife doesn't listen to these, so this will just be between us.
Between us and our listeners.
I still have the phone number for the guy that bought my black one.
Yeah.
I want to call him and see if he'll sell it back to me.
Oh, yeah?
So I can have both my favorite body styles in the same garage at the same time.
Oh man, how long are you? Well, you haven't sold it that long. I bet he's not ready to part
Probably
ways
not.
with it
No.
yet. But it might be worth a call and be like, hey, when you're ready to get rid of this thing,
Yeah, I'll text him
call,
right now.
Text him right now. Be like, hey, when you're ready, I'll be here and we can talk price in person because I'm going to put the moves on you, monetarily speaking. Just the serendipity of all of that is just so special, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's incredible.
I know.
And I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. What you have done is something incredibly magical. and props to you, man.
Thank you.
It's really, really great.
This is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
100%.
Even if this car melts, right?
Yeah.
Like just burns in my driveway. The story will live forever.
Yeah.
And probably grow even more. Amazing. But also I was able to do all of this and for $3,500.
Yeah.
So, not that it's not a lot of money, but I'll recover if the world ends and I have to junk the car. Like I can't do it every week. I can't lose $3,500 week in and week out, but I'm not buying any more cars.
Unless E30 guy calls you back.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mom, listen, I know you want to take credit for it, and you're a distant second for the credit here. But listen, I bought the car. It's my car. She was blowing me up. She's like, you going to tell me on the podcast that I was the one that's responsible? I was like, well, it was Dad's phone. I pay the bill. She thinks she's responsible. And my wife also was like, thanks, mother-in-law, because every time you show up, he spends money. So stop. Stop doing it. Anyway, that's another podcast, right?
Yeah.
We're
that's
there.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for indulging my once-in-a-lifetime story and opportunity.
It's fantastic, man.
If you got a story of your own, let us know. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to have you on, talk about it. Give us some of that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I can't afford to keep doing this. We will put a picture of the car up on Joyride.
Yeah.
And hope you guys enjoyed. What's our Instagram handle?
You can follow us on Instagram at Joyride Pod. And then you can also check out our website and listen to other episodes and shop our merch. It's joyridepod.com.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's an email there too, right?
There is. You can contact the show, contact joyridepod@gmail.com. You can also just go to the website and hit the contact link on there.
Comes right to us.
That's right.
Going right to the top when you do that.
Right to the tippy top.
All right, guys.
Well, a special shout out, thanks to our episode sponsor, High Bank Distillery. Go check them out, highbankco.com. Until next time.
Enjoy the ride.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. It's always like, how long have we been doing this? It's always awkward to start.
It's always weird to start. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know what it is.